Right, I just had the car fixed, the 993, looking a bit dusty. Let's go home. I only did the front bonnet struts, not the rear ones, because I didn't have time. I had to wait an hour to be attended as well. That's how it is sometimes. They said to me, for everyone, time passes. We're all the same. When I said, where's the mechanic? Anyway, it's good to have the... Oh look, the fuel gauge is working. The fuel gauge is working again. We were banging on the fuel tank. Why is it intermittent, the fuel gauge? Good to see what fuel you've got. So I always enjoyed taking the 911 to have some work done on it. Little jobs that I can't do myself. Probably could, but I prefer to stand there and watch someone else do it and give words of encouragement. I say, have a look at this video, though, that's where the fuel pump is, that's where the fuel filter is. I tell them, because it's an unusual car, isn't it? The 911 Porsche. It's not exactly your average car with the engine at the back. The fuel pump, did you know where the fuel pump is under the floor? Well, I do, because I checked on YouTube. Do you know how to change the engine lid struts? Well, I do. I tell the mechanic, I said, it's a 20-minute job, but if you've done it once, it'll be quicker the next time. You've got to take the two air filters off. It's not a big job really, but you've got to take them off, and they look at it, wow. Sort of the bonnet strut's disappearing into a hole of darkness in the engine bay. Got the lights up. But I never get bored of driving this car. I've had the wheels balanced as well. But I found from leaving the car without using it for months, it's not being good for the tyres. The tyres now are not perfect, well, one of them isn't. So I need new front tyres. So if you leave your car sat in a garage while you gallivant off to different countries, make sure you move it when you come back. If you can't start it, you can roll it. Well, actually the brakes had seized on a bit when you know how I moved it? It was stuck in my garage. I towed it with a Land Rover and it went crack when the brakes unbinded, and it moved, but we couldn't push it. So no, I couldn't start it and I couldn't push it to move it. Bumpy, isn't it? It's a bumpy car. Oh, I love it. Just found out now, if you want to register a British car in Spain, you've got to go to the customs men with it first, because we have Brexited, haven't we? Not a pain in the arse that is. I love this car. It's insured, MOT'd, but registering things in Spain or becoming a resident isn't always easy, you know. There's a lot of things. It's not as simple as you may imagine. You have to go to that place, and then you have to go to that place. Then you've got to go to the bank and pay it. Then you've got to go back to that place. And then you go back to that place to get your plates. But you might need to put it on those plates until you've registered it as a historic vehicle. But classics don't pay that tax, you know. So they use a gestor, or gestoria, like a solicitor or lawyer, for cars who know the laws and what you've got to go. I love the engine braking on this car. You know what, I think the fuel gauge came on because I went over a speed ramp a bit hard. I didn't like it myself. You never know how hard the speed ramp is until you go over it, do you really? You think, fuck, that was hard. Or no, I just go over it quite easily. Sometimes I've grounded, not in this car, but I've grounded on the going over speed ramps here in a Mercedes, and I don't like doing that. I don't like grounding a car. Also, going into multi-storey car parks here, going underground, sometimes the drop is a bit sharp for a long car like the Mercedes, and it grounds, and I don't like it. There's a crunching plastic noise. Sort of, the V is touching in the middle of your floor. I hate doing that, and you've got no choice then. You can't bail out and go backwards because you might even scratch it more. But funnily enough, looking under the car, we haven't seen much damage. I did break an under tray by hitting a branch, but it's been repaired now. The 911, this 911 is higher up. I have noticed I tell you what I'd like next is the GT3. And if you order it, if you're a good customer, if they let you order it, it's half the price of what they're worth. It's just obviously a good idea to order a few. But they're very low. They're very low. I don't like having the car too low because you're going to ground it. I saw an eagle or something take off from that fence. This 911 is just the right height. I have been down some really gnarly rocky road in the south of France trying to get to a beach, and it was like, do I bail out now and try and go back, or do? But I was touching the bottom and a lot of the holes in the road. I didn't like it. I didn't think I had nightmares about it, but the 911, you've got to remember, is a very tough car. It's like a good sailing yacht. It's tougher than you are. You're not really going to break it. Just don't crash it. Pop in the engine a little bit, like that. You hear that? Sort of brrr. Fuel gauge has dropped dramatically in 5 minutes.